How's it going, fam? Erica back with the essentials, and today we're doing a pocket dump, talking about some new gear that came in for Christmas, and going over the last 3 days of hell on earth, aka living in the campers in winter. The last 3 days have been literally disturbing. Like, you're not even gonna believe what I'm gonna tell you, but it's real life. But we're gonna laugh about it. We're not in a bad mood. You guys will not believe what happened. But I've been using my tools like crazy lately, and I want to go over what I was carrying the past 3 days and how I used it and how it saved my butt over and over again. I already went over the tradesman in a prior video. This was a Christmas gift. A Christmas gift from someone, okay? For that person that was like, I thought you were done buying knives. I don't know how many times I can say it. I am done buying knives. That's why I don't buy them. People gift them to me sometimes, like a Christmas gift. And that's what this is. So this was a gift from my bestest friend in the whole world, Jeremy. He sent this over to me as a present because he knew I wanted it. And this got a lot of work in the past few days. And I also got something else as a gift, as a Christmas gift from Calvin. There will be an unboxing video, which I literally never do, but he wanted me to do one. I will upload that unboxing of this before this video, hopefully, because it's wicked funny. I know why he wanted me to do the unboxing now. You'll get it once you see it, but he sent this along as a Christmas gift, and this is a BGM Knives Quaken, but a one-off custom in a, like, chisel formation, which is really cool and really useful. So this was a gift from a friend, again, for Christmas. He had this commissioned for me. Thank you, Calvin. I already told you and sent you a video on how I've already been using my shit with this. Calvin was live during the chaos. I sent him a video to thank him for this and to show him how I was using it. But yeah, those were some cool gifts that came in for Christmas. Let's go over what happened, and I will kind of walk you through what I was using. So, Friday, I think it was. Everyone starts talking about this storm. And in New Hampshire, it was like it was like 55 degrees and pouring rain. Warm, very warm out. But then it was going to change very quickly within a few hours to like negative sub-zero temps, and all of that rain was going to freeze, and we were getting a massive snowstorm and a massive ice storm and like literally sub-zero temps. And so I was like, yay, a storm, I love storms, and yay, a warm day to play in the rain with the dogs. That'll be fun. Fuck no, not on Erica's planet, because everything goes wrong. So, what happens? Friday comes along, and I am trying to sleep, and all of a sudden I hear, like, shredding. And I wake up, and the tarp on the camper has blown completely off. Now, in theory, not a big deal, because we have done a lot of renovations, and the ceiling should not be leaking in theory. So I, got up, put my boots on, I kind of, like, crumpled the tarp behind my camper. For the time being, it was like 6 a.m., because I would need Nicole's help later to fix it, and she was still asleep, so I crumpled it up behind my camper and just let it be. Went back to bed because I am exhausted, right? I had just worked the night before, and I didn't get home until, like, almost 12. So, I get up in a couple hours, and the camper sure does feel a little chilly. And I look at Kane, I'm like, Kane, why'd you pee on the floor? You're a big boy. Just kidding, it's not pee. The ceiling blew out. And it was rainwater all over the floor, and it was cold in the camper because the heater couldn't keep up with the temperature in the camper because there was a gaping fucking hole in the roof. As seen here. What happened was, during that giant windstorm and rainstorm, a branch penetrated through the skylight here, broke the shield while I was asleep, and water was pouring down into my camper, and there was a giant hole in the ceiling. So I'm like, shit. Also, sorry for these weird lights, these, like, rays of light. It's from the lights that I have hanging up. They're not going to go away, sorry. So, get my boots on, get my raincoat on. I'm like, holy crap, I gotta repair this. I wake up Nicole, I'm like, hey Nicole, my camper's falling apart, don't know if you would mind helping. And we gotta get this tarp up. Because it was literally like we had just a few hours of like warm pouring rain before this big storm started to happen. So, Nicole starts getting stuff for my tarp. I have her run down and grab bricks from our old property to hold it down, hopefully. I am here repairing this giant hole in the ceiling. I did get to use my chisel. I was using it kind of like, you're supposed to roll that flex tape out. That black tape, you're supposed to roll it out, but I didn't have anything to roll it with. So I was like, I'll just use something really flat to really press that into the foam. I had to cut that rigid foam board to size to clog that hole. And then I used the Quaken to kind of really secure that tape. Sent Calvin a video of that. So this got a lot of use. And I was cutting the rigid foam board to size. I measured it out. Granted, it is pouring in my camper. Let's not forget, it's like a rainforest in here. So I'm in the pouring rain in my camper. Trying to measure out a clog for this. And I was using my Para 3 to cut the rigid foam board to size, because this is just like a pretty good blade shape for that. It's really thick stuff. It was like 1.5 inches thick, and I was using this to cut out pieces to clog that, right? And to patch it up. So this got a lot of action. The blade is like a different color now because it was rubbing the coating so much. So, I get that all fixed up, right? And then Nicole gets back with the bricks. We're like, all right, let's get this tarp on, bitches. We've got a couple hours before we are effed. Nicole's on the roof. I am helping with the tarp. And all of a sudden, we hear a big crack. I'm like, Nicole, that didn't happen to me in my other fucking skylight, did it? And Nicole is like, sorry. And Nicole had fallen through the second skylight, so I had just patched up the first one, and now the one right over my bed is cracked open and completely broken. Fuck! So then I'm like, holy shit, like I'm really running out of time here. So I had to cut more foam board, secure it into there, cover that, cover it with the tarp. Well, we finally get the tarp up, and it starts blowing off. I'm like, oh my god, I can't win. And it's like pouring. Like, our hands were literally, like, saturated. Like, we could barely even move. Our hands were, like, so swollen with water. We were out there for hours. But we got the tarp on. We had to tie it down. Keeps blowing away. Every single brick blew off. So that didn't work. But we just were messing with it all day trying to get it secure. Finally got both of the patches on. Get the tarp on. And then the storm starts rolling in. And this is where things start to get a little spooky, right? So the temperature plummets to -6 within a couple hours, and all that rain, we had like a flash flood, and all that rain started to freeze. And we had gone out, we were gonna go pick up Nicole's brother to see him for Christmas, and we both got this weird freaking feeling, right? It's Friday evening now, and it's cold as balls out. There's a snowstorm. We start driving, and the drive is like an hour one way, and we get like this weird feeling, and I was like, turn around, just turn the car around. And we had to go through a flood in the road that like went up over Nicole's car. Like not over the hood, but pretty freaking close. We get through the flood thing, and we're like, well, we can't go back that way. We barely made it through. We almost started floating away. But I have a weird freaking feeling we gotta go back to the campers like now. So we circle around, go all the way back to the campers, we get home. And Nicole's heat is out. And it's literally like -6 degrees. The wind gusts are stupid at this point, like dangerous. Like everything is dangerous. The trees are falling. You can hear ambulances everywhere. Power is out. We get to the campers, power is out. And Nicole's heat is out. And we're like, oh my god, like how are we going to even do this, right? Like holy shit. So Nicole's trying to get her heat going. My tarp has started shredding, and there are branches everywhere, and my dogs are scared inside, and everything's falling apart. So I try to get everything settled inside. Nicole's heat will not turn on. It is literally -6, and we're like, we just gotta hunker down. We have no heat, and the generator from up at Bruce's house, you know, could barely get it down here, and we couldn't plug in an electric heater or anything. So Nicole literally had to hide that entire night in her room. She shut her door. She put jackets and sweatshirts on her dogs. She literally wore like a snowsuit to bed, and she hid under her blankets, and it got all the way down to 30-something degrees in her camper, and her heat never turned on the entire night. Like, oh my god, what a nightmare. We could not get it on. And the propane wasn't out, it just wouldn't turn on. So, she has no heat in her camper. She's literally freezing to death and made a tent in her bed for her dogs. Midnight hits in my camper and my heat goes out. I'm like, oh my god, you've got to be kidding me. Like, I just replaced that tank. So I have 2 tanks and I can switch the supply over and start using the other one. Get all my gear on. It is so windy outside, you can't even like stand out there. Still no power. I get out there and the rain had frozen on my entire supply and I couldn't move it. Like, I could not switch my supply over to get my heat going. Now, in my camper, you can see your breath. Like, we got up and I could literally, like, see my breath, and the dogs were fucking freezing. So I'm out there trying to use my breath to, like, melt the ice off of the propane thing. I've got, you know, my Nipex out. I'm trying to not break anything out there, but also get it moving. Would not move. Freaking freezing. So I just start crying. I'm like, I can't freaking handle this. It's this. And now, it's, like, almost 1 o'clock in the morning on Christmas Eve day. So I just start crying, and I text Bruce. I'm like, Bruce, I don't know if you're up, but can you bring, like, a blow dryer down here because my heat is out and my supply is completely frozen solid and I can't move anything. Luckily, he was up. He comes down with the truck. We run an extension cord from my camper with a hair dryer. I had to melt my entire heating system, switch the supply over to the full tank, and then it finally started going. I'm like, oh my god, thank God, thank God, thank God. Nicole's heat never turns on. I luckily had heat in my camper, but no power for the whole night. We go into Christmas Eve day, and Nicole's heat didn't turn on until like almost 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and we didn't get power back until almost 4 o'clock that night. So we went like a day without power, which for us is hard. We already live pretty sparingly. Nugget, not right now. Nugget wants to play with her brother right now. And he's just like, can I please sleep in peace? So that was fun. So then we, were out trying to work on things. Power finally turns on at 4, and it was so cold out that Nicole went to unlock her camper with the key, which she just keeps in the lock when we're home. She went to go unlock it, and the key was frozen solid in the lock and broke off. So then, we had to take her entire lock out and quickly run down to the store, try to get a copy made. No, it didn't work. I had to use all my tools to try to get this little half-broken key out of the lock. Zadie, sweetheart, please. Mommy's trying to record. I had all my tools out. I've got my Spirit X out. I'm trying to pull it out with the pliers. It's stuck in there. It's broken. So we have to heat up the lock, which we had taken off the door, and clog the hole so the wind doesn't get into the camper. I'm using all my tools, trying to get this fucker out. Finally, able to get it out by the grace of God. Also, what else did I have to use? I had to use my Mr. Nice Bar outside to get the cover off of... Sadie, please. To get the cover off of the electric panel because it was frozen solid, so this was super useful to pull that off. But it was like a nightmare. And then, so Nicole tried to copy the key, didn't work because she had super glued it together and they couldn't make a correct copy of it, so that was great. Her heat finally turned on eventually. Oh my god, but like what an absolute nightmare. But I did get to use all my gear because I was outside for like multiple days on end trying to keep my camper together. The tradesman got a ton of work cutting paracord and other means of securing the camper and the tarp. So this got a bunch of work put in. And I will say this was really nice to have on a belt sheath when I was working outside with gloves and stuff, much easier than using a folder. This was just really nice to continue pulling out of the sheath and to use. But, and then, Christmas for me, I was supposed to see my family on New Year's Eve, all bailed, supposed to see them on Christmas, bailed, didn't see anybody, but I did stay home and watch YouTube with my dogs while Nicole went and saw her family, so I guess that was nice, and it was relaxing to just, like, chill for a little bit. But yeah, needless to say, the past few days have been absolutely exhausting, dangerous, and that is on top of us getting evicted from the town, and we only have a few days left here anyway and nowhere to go. Because living in a camper is apparently illegal in New Hampshire, and the town kicked us out and said, you gotta get out of the campers. So, the past few days may or may not have been a little taxing. We are very grateful for the presents that came in, and William, if you're watching, thank you so much for literally continuously helping us with the tools. We had to use that Sawzall that you sent over here. We used to cut out the panel for that other leak. Not for the rigid foam board. I had plastic paneling to put over it. Zadie, please. So we used the saw for that. So thank you, and the drill to drill it up into the ceiling. I would show you, but it's like really dark in there right now. I don't have any lights on in my bedroom right now. But William, thank you for everything, and also thank you for the Christmas gift that you sent along that you just told Nicole about. Man, it's been a tough couple of days and one of the most dangerous Christmas I have ever had. Not having heat when it's -6 degrees is fucking terrifying. I was actually scared, and not having electricity, scary. And having your roof leaking and blowing off and stuff, scary. So, I'm grateful that everything is good now. Just a really tough couple of days, so I just wanted to say thank you, and I hope you guys had a way better Christmas than I did. I got to use my shit a lot. I got to put a lot of stuff to the test here, and, you know, it just goes to show why being prepared is so important. I literally, like, slept in my clothes for a couple days with my full gear load out because everything kept happening at the most terrible times, like 1 o'clock in the morning, heat goes out. Yesterday, 1 o'clock in the morning, my heat went out. Had to quickly go switch the supply over when I woke up and realized it was like 30 degrees in the camper again. It goes out like every day because you go through 30 gallons of propane a day here. But yeah, so the whole moral of this story is, number one, stay prepared. A lot of people think that carrying, 5 pounds of gear is excessive, unnecessary, and that you will never use it all. I beg to differ. I used every single tool over and over again for the past 3 days, non-stop. They saved my butt. When you live like I do, you just use your shit constantly. I was using my tools for 3 days straight. Non-stop. So being prepared, super important. Having a good EDC set, super important. Reliable, rugged tools, super important. Also, guys, just keep your freaking heads up. The world at this point, I feel like, is trying to literally annihilate us. And you just gotta keep trying harder. Like, I just kept trying to use all of these as, like, lessons for myself and motivation to try and do better the next day, to make things more secure the next day, just to try and do better the next day. Scary couple of days, but it is what it is. We got through it. Everything's good now, for now. So yeah, I hope you guys had a great Christmas. I hope that you got to use your shit. I hope that you got fun, exciting knives, maybe, like I did. And maybe that you even got to use them, like I did. That's about it. Yeah, I will see you guys on the next video. Go use your shit. I love you all so much. Thanks again for all of the support on the channel and the Christmas gifts and the support if you have sent it. I love you guys all so much. I will see you soon. Take care.